Signal. Pasha Paroh. Thank you for tuning. Constellation, Stars and Stripes. All right. So, Alex Hormozi, y'all know me, right? I'm not the type to. I'm not gonna talk around you, aside from you. I'm not gonna talk behind your back. That's not me. I post on people's pages and comments because I'm talking to them, right? I don't have to go make videos or do posts with subliminals. I'm open for debate, right? Because debate is how you win court cases. It's a lot of stuff that benefits from that. We'll get to that in a moment. So I watch people though. I'm studying the people that currently society feel is successful, right? Or society flocks to. They don't like that sometimes because when I guess the best way to see it is I haven't met someone that I looked up to and still found confidence in why I felt like I looked up to them after you get to know them. And it's mainly because they're not they either don't understand why they're doing what they're doing or they're not who they said they were from the beginning. Right? It's a lot of people with good intentions, they mean well, and they do things that seemingly works. But just because something works doesn't mean that it's good for you, good for your city, good for your country, good for quality of life, good for GDP. But people benefit from it. And then idiots follow them because they be like, ooh, fiat currency signs, dollar signs. They got some, I should copy that. And then they get a whole pandemic, right? So I was, I came across a video from Hormozi called something, right? Four reasons why something, right? And basically what he was talking about was, and go look the video. I encourage you to go, not that, I'm gonna put a big huge surge on his video views, but go watch that video and just see if you agree with it. And then come back and watch this one. Because I need you to feel like you belong with what you feel like everybody else is doing, so I can show you why the wise people see the United States as a giant orphanage / mental hospital. And that's why they feel responsible for you, right? And this is why we're serving America as the alternative, because American mentality is totally different from United States mentality. Because the United States are victims of programming that they don't even comprehend yet. Okay? So if you're on the edge and you don't know if you're American or United States at heart, this video may help you. Okay? So the reasons, right? The reasons people don't reach higher intelligence levels is what we're going to speak about, and basically showcase not that there's anything, I don't think there's anything personally wrong with Hormozi or Hormozi. If I'm pronouncing the name incorrectly, excuse me. So, but his message is dangerous. But his message isn't different from a lot of other people that you look up to in similar levels of society. But why is that? And why do you keep falling victim to it? And why does it excite you to be preyed upon in such a way? The reason many people, right, will never reach higher intelligence levels is simply because they're afraid to debate. Okay? And that's what we're going to go over today in this video. And the effects and much more. Stay tuned. You're going to enjoy this. Nothing wrong with debating. Debate is how you test reality. It's how you win court cases. It's how you sway juries. And they lead you to believe, the United States does, that it is how they elect their presidents, right? You get a little friendly debate going on. It exposes what people's intentions are, and you go from there and decide who you agree with, right? Okay. So let's get to it. Now, it separates how you it's how you separate truth from content. Okay? And that's why we need to address Hormozi's message, newest message about mental toughness. If you're with us, place in the comments what toughness means to you. What does it mean to be tough? Right? When you hear mental toughness, do you feel like that's a good thing, a negative thing? Are you impartial? Let us know. Let's get a couple comments in the chat and go from there. Don't fear being wrong. Okay? Weak minds focus on right or wrong because they don't understand that right and wrong is both a part of true and false. All right. Your perspective is what it is. And it doesn't mean that once you receive the proper information you need to form a new opinion, that you won't have more alignment with the truth. All right. So what tough actually means, or you know what? I have the etymology for you. You know how we roll at YNet7. You know the signal. So let's look at that. All right, tough is actually strong and firm in texture. Right? Strong and firm in texture. Now, what do you think of when you hear texture? You think about that famous F word, and it's not the 4-letter. Actually, no, it's not the 4-letter one. It's the extended version of the other 4-letter one. It's feelings, right? Strong and firm in your feelings. And then you know how that make me throw up, right? When we talk about feelings, because feelings fucks everything up in society, right? It's the reason you're worried about recession right now. It's the reason why you're afraid to invest in your business, your brand right now, because you're thinking about depression, because of how you feel about the fake fiat currency, and you know what happens if you don't have a car tomorrow, if you take a chance on yourself. You know, all these feelings. You're stuck in being tough. You're strong and firm, textured mind and thoughts, right? So it's very unfortunate for those that don't know it, because mental toughness, the way he frames it, is often the exact opposite of wisdom. See, wisdom is the frog in the pot story. How many of you know the frog in the pot story? The frog in the pot story said that if you take a frog and you have a pot of boiling water, a live frog, and you put the frog, go to put the frog in the pot, it's gonna fight you. It don't want to go in the boiling water. It knows better. However, if you take the pot of boiling water, you turn the temperature down to lukewarm spa temperature, and you place the frog in there, then it'd be like, this is so comfortable. This is like, therapeutic. It's like a resort. I can live like this. And you slowly turn the temperature up, the frog will adapt to the temperature increase. Hardly never even notice it because it's such a slow increase. It'd be like, I think it's a little bit hotter in here. Somebody will be like, nah, you're tripping. Don't worry about it. Just keep going, stay put, don't worry about it. Don't fuck your feelings, keep going, you're gonna make it. And it keep turning the temperature up, keep turning the temperature slowly. The frog never realizes the danger. Eventually, next thing you know, the pot's boiling water, frog's dead, boom. All because he was being told to have thick skin. Be mentally tough. You'll overcome the elements of the boiling water cooking your ass, right? So, mental toughness, the way Hormozi puts it, is the exact opposite of wisdom. The creature who adjusts to the rising heat instead of asking, why am I still in this damn pot? So instead of teaching you to get out of the burning room, grab a fire extinguisher, or better yet, California, build with concrete so the room doesn't burn, he's teaching his followers to stay put, endure the heat, grind harder, and call it growth. Do you see that? Because tough, strong or firm in texture, the original meaning, an example would be leather, rope, tough meat. Tough refers to structure that is no longer living, like dead tissue, not something adaptive or self-regenerating. Tough is dead meat. When people talk about mental toughness, you got to understand and look at tough tissue as dead tissue. Dead tissue does not respond to stimulus. Dead tissue. Hold on. Let me get over here and say that again for the people that need it again. Dead tissue does not respond to stimulus. It does not grow. It does not adapt. It never heals. See, when you look at the popularity factor and you're blinded by 1 million views, right? And only 2 quality people, you get blindsided by the message. You just want to be a part of something so bad. You saw 1 million, you're like, I need to be a part of the 1 million. It got 5 million views. I want to be one, right? And I watched the video too because it came up on my scroll, but I watched it to learn what's the mental illness running through the United States right now so we can heal this together. I'm studying. It's a case study for me. And I'm looking at the leadership, and those who know me know I've been doing this for most of my life. That's why a lot of institutions and these organizations don't want you to know who I am because I've already broken them down and did a case study. Okay? This is how we're going to make America better than the United States. It's called an FMEA, a failure mode effect analysis. So what is the mental illness? And let's look at the leadership and look at that bridge. Dead tissue does not respond to stimulus. It does not grow. It does not adapt. It does not heal. It resists change because it's inert. Translating this to humans, teaching people to be mentally tough you're literally training them to suppress feelings, not react, not respond to them. You're training them to suppress adaptation. You're training them to suppress creative flexibility. You're turning them into emotionally and cognitively inert workers. You're making them brain dead, in other words, instead of adaptive. You're removing the high intelligence problem solvers from their brain. Hormozi's framing says, stay in the room, endure it. Don't feel, grind harder. Like dead tissue in the meat grinder. You're not adapting to reality, you're resisting it. Hardening, numbing yourself. Real intelligence and innovation require living tissue, sensitivity, feedback, and adaptive thinking. And that's what America's gonna be. And that is what the United States will never be able to match. So the etymology of the word tough literally proves the rigidness and the non-living, the unchanging of Hormozi's teachings. He even says in the video, this doesn't invalidate your feelings. This is his quote. This doesn't invalidate your feelings. It simply breaks the link between how you feel and how you act. And you wonder why you're still in abusive relationships. And you wonder why you're still going to the toxic workplace that causes post-traumatic stress disorder, elevated cortisol levels, entire systems in your body to shut down, causes you to go home with a bad attitude and ruin your home life. Your kids are deteriorating because they're watching their parents destroy each other because they're both going to work under Hormozi's teaching and coming home feeling empty, abused, and destroyed, traumatized, and all they do is create a traumatic environment for their next generations. Then they go to school and you wonder why we have mass shootings in the school and the church. It's because of Hormozi's teachings. Not saying he's the reason, but what he's presenting is the source of that issue. Let's further define it. Let me get you a new picture, a new image. Because tell me that's not robotic programming. That's why so many people are like scared and mad about the AI, because they feel something inside of them is telling them the AI is going to replace them. And the only reason you could feel like the AI is going to replace you is if you were made to be the first AI. And now this AI to use AI 2.0. So tell me this isn't how you create a compliant workforce. I thought he was building leaders. I mean, I know this, the signal, we pass leadership. We magnets. We not managers. But I thought, he was building his entourage of leaders, but it looks like he's simply making a compliant workforce like any other HR. Tell me being brain dead isn't how you keep innovators trapped in jobs instead of them building empires themselves. You wonder why you sell 2.9 million copies in a single day and nothing in the nation has changed? Because it wasn't built for you to change. He's telling you to stay the same. You just invested in your own stagnation. All 2.9 million of you. And this is who the internet calls a leader. This is who the internet surges 50 million views for, 2.9 million sales in a day. And you wonder why you think the nation's fucked up. He's not evil. Alex is not evil. He's just wrong. But wrong is a part of true. I win debates with truth. Toxic workplace PTSD is why mental toughness culture is dangerous. Most Americans aren't lazy. Most United States citizens aren't lazy. As he used the word, they're traumatized. You're traumatized. But again, dead tissue doesn't heal. You're having traumatic experiences and they got people telling you to stay in the fire. And then when Pasha said, yo, get out. I actually pulled a lady out of the burning apartment upstairs from me. Before the fire people got there. If I was Alex Hormozi, I'd be like, yo, mental toughness. I mean, but that's exactly the image. The next time you see Alex Hormozi, that is the image you need to remember. That is his message to you. You are trapped in the burning apartment on the 3rd floor, and he's gonna yell up there, mental toughness. I came and pulled your ass out. That's why we sound different. That's why our message is different. Okay? They carry workplace PTSD from bosses. The traumatized United States citizens are carrying workplace PTSD from bosses who punish intuition. What do you mean you're gonna go with your gut? We told you to stay put. You got a compliance metric here. Companies that weaponize loyalty. Leaders who demanded emotional self-erasure. What was the quote he gave you? This doesn't invalidate your feelings. It simply breaks the link between how you feel and how you act. Like, no, you got shot, but don't worry about it. No, they stabbed you in the back, but you didn't feel that, did you? You're mentally tough. Keep fucking with them. Keep hanging out with them. That's what they want you to think they do, right? They're carrying the United States citizens' workplace post-traumatic stress disorder from environments where speaking up meant being labeled difficult. How many of y'all have kept your mouth shut because you felt like if you spoke up, they was gonna label you difficult to work with? Half of LinkedIn just signed off because half of them got posts on there talking about be the person that everybody wants to work with. You might as well blow your head off because it's impossible to be the person that everybody wants to work with. There was a point in time where leadership would tell you, you can please some of the people sometime. You can please all of the people sometime. But you can never please all the people all the time. Where did the brains go? Oh, their tissue. They're carrying workplace post-traumatic stress disorder from pressure to tolerate unethical behavior simply to keep a paycheck. Yeah, that's mental toughness for you. It becomes code for ignore the abuse, adapt to the dysfunction, stay quiet, keep producing. That's not mental toughness. That's psychological conditioning from someone, I'm telling you, from the perspective of marketing and branding. You gotta get the book. You gotta get the novel Codex. It's a section in here where it tells you about the propaganda of the 1940s when the military got involved. That's why you don't know any better, because you haven't read the novel Codex. You spent your change and got 2.9 million copies of Stay Put when the house is on fire book. That's why you can't build shit different. So people like Hormozi, intentionally or not, like I said, I don't think he's a evil person. I think people don't know what they don't know, and once you gain popularity and you were so like desperate for people to like you, you keep doing what made you popular instead of doing what's right for people. Simon Sinek got a quote that says, poor leaders or bad leaders manipulate people to grow the money. Great leaders manipulate the money to grow the people. You just sold 2.9 million copies of something that manipulated the people for you to grow the money, but didn't grow them at all. That's reinforcing trauma by telling you your feelings are irrelevant to your actions. And that's why you get quotes from him like, this doesn't invalidate your feelings. It simply breaks the link between how you feel and how you act. But those people don't get it. That's exactly how you create an obedient employee class. That's not how you create empire builders. Mental toughness worship is causing innovation stagnation in the United States. All your complaints, most of your complaints today are from innovation stagnation. You can't innovate while suppressing your instincts. You can't innovate while ignoring the discomfort. You can't innovate while tolerating systems that no longer work. You can't become better adjusting to pressure instead of redesigning the structure. You can't have continuous improvement accepting environments built for yesterday's economy. This stay in the burning room philosophy has already cost the United States and greatly, and as a byproduct, has caused the American people great pain and suffering. It's cost America its boldness. It's cost America our originality. This used to be the land of the brave. It's cost America our risk-taking, our experimentation, our national confidence, the cultural imagination, the competitive edge we used to have against global innovators has been eroded because of Alex Hormozi's message. And he just pumped 2.9 more million brainwashed individuals into the economy in one day. You want to support that? Or you want a novel codex that puts America back on top? Do you want to be in the burning room, or you want to know how to grab a fire extinguisher and build a concrete building? Dead tissue. Right? Mentally tough. Dead tissue is the trait. Mentally tough humans it mirrors AI behavior. You're gonna ignore your feelings, right? That's the trait. The human reality suppresses intuition and emotion. The AI parallel. Hold on. Let me get you a new image here. Work with me. I don't have a team of 14 people behind me. It's just me. I enjoy doing this all by myself. All right, there we go. So let's continue. The trait is going to be on the human reality. Okay, so let's start over. Ignoring feelings is going to be the trait. The human reality is suppressing intuition and their emotion. The AI parallel is operates on algorithms, rules only. Trait number 2, acting without feedback. The human reality is endures discomfort rather than adjusting. The AI parallel is execute commands without learning context. Trait number 3, consistency over insight. This is why consistency makes me vomit. Keep showing up, keep being the same, keep going to the same place. Keep going, keep doing it, try again. Like I put on a post the other day, he had a post that said the lady was a real estate owner, doing something in real estate, was doing YouTube, making $13,000 an hour. Was asking him how did she make more. He said, go do 5 live videos a month instead of whatever 3 that she was doing. Basically, that means I don't know. Like that, when you translate it to what he said is I don't know. But because you're in an appearance of popularity, and what I said in response to that is, when you reach a certain level of popularity, you can tell someone a dumbass answer like that, basically tell them you don't know, and they'll celebrate it as if you told them something magical. And if we were to go pull that lady aside and backtrack through her life, it was probably 7 people in her life in the week prior that told her the exact same thing, and she dismissed it like, what do they know? Who are you? You're a Starbucks barista. How do you want to just tell me to do more videos? You don't know what you're talking about. Hormozi's like, damn, I don't fucking know. She ain't give me the right budget. You know what? I don't know. Just make more videos. Why make it complicated? Oh my God, you're a genius. Celebrate. Oh, she's on Instagram and Facebook right now. Alex Hormozi is the best. He told me just do more videos. How about optimization? What you got? How about getting more of the right people? In that post that I responded to, I said, anybody that's been following the content or consuming the content or learning from Hormozi, like, you can learn from wrong, right? Study what's wrong. That's FMEA. I'm not looking at Hormozi because I think it has nothing to do with him personally, like, right? But I'm not looking at their business, their brand, or him thinking that he's great. I'm looking at him and their operations I'm figuring out the failure mode effect analysis. Because when you win the Guinness Book of Records for 2.9 million books sold in a day, that's not something that reflects on him. That's something that reflects on the mental illness in society that valued that to the point where they consume 2.9 million copies in a day. There's a serious problem there. So I need to figure it out, because America's not going to be that. We're going to fix that. We're going to solve that issue. It's a sickness. It's a mental disorder. And it's not to say there's anything wrong with those people. They just don't know what they don't know. When you getting brainwashed, the reason you're getting brainwashed is because you don't know you're getting brainwashed. The question is, how do we reprogram them, unbrainwash them, whatever variable of the word you want to put in there? So what I responded, part of my response was, when you know the Hormozis, you know, like I said, excuse the pronunciation, they never had a problem with quantity. They were flying out the gyms, you know, doing the gym sales, flying back to where they from, doing that. They had quantity. The reason why they struggled and suffered so much in the beginning of their careers is because they didn't have quality. And what I'm noticing is they haven't improved that. Now, they could work with Pasha Paroh. They could become my clients, and I could teach them that, and then they could go and make better those 2.9 million people that bought their stuff. But now, you know, because that's how you get to all this time into the future. You're selling 2.9 million copies in a day because you're a master of quantity. Quantity, not quality. So you don't have the quality people buying the book, and you may not have the quality information in the book, but you got the right balance of how to make it quantity high, which benefits you, destroys the country. Right? Do we blame that on him? America doesn't blame that on him. Stars and Stripes doesn't see that as his fault. right? Stars and Stripes sees that as the societal mental disorder, and he's just capitalizing on it. And maybe because of the response of dopamine, he feels like he's doing something good, right? So trait number 4, suppressing adaptation. Doesn't innovate to escape the bad environments, which is what his whole video was about. Don't escape it. When you feel this way, you're gonna go off your baseline, up or down, or down would be the problem. I guess if you go up, it's not a problem, right? So you go down, you go wilding out. How long does it take you to get back to the baseline? Oh, that's resilience. You know, you got low resilience. And no, motherfucker, this is fucked up. We ain't trying to come back. We don't want to come back. The frog says the pot of water is boiling. I'm not with that no more. The AI parallels cannot self-modify beyond its parameters. You see the mechanism? By repeatedly conditioning humans to decouple their emotion from action, Hormozi, quote, this doesn't invalidate your feelings, it breaks the link between how you feel and how you act. You create predictable, controllable behavior. Predictable, controllable behavior. This sounds like human AI to me. They no longer respond adaptively or creatively. They no longer challenge assumptions or innovate, just like AI executing code. You want physical, you want psychological and social proof? Humans are naturally adaptive, emotional, creative. That's why you hear me say I'm like a computer. It's not that I don't have emotions. It's how you respond to them. It's what they mean to you. Do the emotions control you, or are they signals? So you turn them into tough, brain-dead machines. You remove what makes them human. You remove their curiosity. You remove their instinct, their moral judgment, their creativity. Essentially, obedience is the AI upgrade for humans in a system designed for control. Now, innovation requires discomfort awareness, not discomfort denial. You cannot outcreate a world you're still trying to fit into. The most transformative CEOs didn't rise because they were the smartest or the richest. They rose because they lost tolerance for the BS. Sam Altman, OpenAI. What bothered him? Altman believed that artificial general intelligence was coming, AGI. Excuse me. And that if left to just any corporation, it would be developed irresponsibly. Kind of like how we're looking at the United States. It's already been developed irresponsibly. So America's going to have to come and, provide an alternative. How did Sam Altman act? Per Hormozi's claim of how did he act out, which they would have wanted to reel him back into his baseline, he co-founded, instead of coming back into the burning room, he said, fuck that, and co-founded OpenAI as a mission-driven company explicitly to steer AGI development toward benefiting all of humanity. The impact was OpenAI models like your ChatGPT have accelerated AI adoption massively. But Altman continues to focus on safety, governance, and democratization of advanced AI, per TechCrunch. Now, what did that do for him personally? Before he went off the deep end, so to speak, previously as president of Y, right? Altman earned, who knows, but approximately, let's say, $500,000 a year. After co-founding OpenAI, his stake in OpenAI alone is estimated to be greater than $1 billion in equity, not counting other holdings. You see why they want you to, fall in line and be quiet? Because you're a threat when you start, feeling your feelings. Jensen Huang, again, excuse me with the name, but NVIDIA, what bothered him? As a microprocessor designer, Huang saw that traditional CPUs weren't built to handle the exploding demands of graphics and parallel computing, per CNBC. He acted out of line by co-founding NVIDIA. What if all you gamers out there and people that have graphic cards that are in video, wherever they're at, right, in whatever they're in, what if he bought Hormozi's book? Right? What if Hormozi's book came out back then and he bought the book and it said, stay in line, have mental toughness, you too can get through this. And he said, you know what, I think I'll do that. I think Hormozi's right. Where would the world be without NVIDIA? 2.9 million copies of anti-future NVIDIA potential sold in a day. I'm just saying, you got options. But we got 2.9 million people now who will never develop NVIDIA. I ain't gonna say never. They might get the novel codex after that, right? But just think about that for a moment. This is why you hear me speak not about you directly to the non-constellation, to the non-stars and stripes, to those outside of that. This is why you hear me speak about your leadership. Because if Jensen Huang followed Hormozi's teachings, you would not have NVIDIA processors right now, GPUs. NVIDIA GPUs are now central to even the AI revolution, powering data centers, research, and workloads globally. How did that help him personally? Well, before, early career salary at AMD was like $100K a year. The NVIDIA market cap is $1 trillion. Market cap, excuse me. And Huang's worth is over $30 billion per Forbes 2025. So think about this, the 2.9 million people that bought Hormozi's book, you're probably making 100,000. You're gonna still be making that 100,000 because of Hormozi's book. If you buy this one, this will see you in your own creative way. You could be the next $30 billion person on Forbes. You're not gonna get that from Hormozi. You're gonna get stay put while the house burned down around you, right? Brian Chesky, Airbnb. What bothered him? Chesky couldn't afford his rent, saw inefficiency in how people traveled and used space. That's what Wikipedia said. These are names you trust the most, right? Forbes, Wired, TechCrunch, CNBC, Wikipedia. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. How did he act out of line that Hormozi would be like, smack out of him, we need you back in here. You're acting different. Why are you acting different? Mental toughness, guy, mental toughness. He acted out when he with Joe Jabia, turned their apartment into a makeshift B&B during a conference, which evolved into Airbnb per Wikipedia's account. Impact was Airbnb disrupted hospitality, created a new economy of shared living, and changed how people live and travel globally. The financial before and after for him was, prior to that, he was a $50,000 a year designer. After Airbnb IPO, the net worth $13 billion per Forbes. 2.9 million people that just reduced their chances of becoming $13.9 billion. While the next 10 people that get my book, you got a great chance to be better than all 2.9 million of them. Sure, the difference is I don't know what his book costs. $14, $30, I don't know, paperback. Mine's gonna be 111. But you see the difference? You're gonna stay in the burning building with his. You're gonna be a billionaire with mine. You guess you get what you pay for, right? Lisa Dyson, Air Protein, Caverdi. What bothered her was Dyson was deeply concerned about sustainability, especially with how we produce food and materials and the climate impact of carbon emissions, says Wikipedia. Now, Hormozi would have kicked her out of the Feelings group because she acted out by founding Air Protein, making food from carbon dioxide, and Caverdi, which recycles CO2 into materials. Sounds like rocket science to me. The impact is her companies are pioneering carbon negative biotechnologies, while Hormozi's in the background crying about, she's changed. She's not who she used to be anymore. Meanwhile, she's potentially revolutionizing food systems and raw material production. Her financial before and after, like when people leave Hormozi's following and get with Pasha, early career, she was 80 to 120,000. Post ventures, current valuations for Air Protein and Caverdi, she's 50 million plus combined, with potential for multi-billion-dollar scale as tech matures. How about Himanshu Gupta, if I said that right? Climate AI. What bothered him coming from a place hit by climate volatility? Gupta understood the real risk, or the true risk, climate change poses on supply chains, food security, and livelihoods. He upset Hormozi when he left and co-founded Climate AI, which uses AI to predict climate risk across global supply chains and help companies adapt. Because he wasn't, you got to be living tissue to adapt, right? The impact is companies can now proactively manage climate risk rather than react, helping mitigate future shocks. The financial before and after for Gupta, previously worked as a data scientist, earning, they said, this is the hearsay, $70,000 a year. After founding Climate AI, the company valuation is over $100 million, with Gupta personally holding significant equity. See the difference in what you consume? If you had to do it again, would you have been one of the 2.9 million on that day? I mean, I'm sure there's more since then. Or would you want, how about one more? Know You Bar? I don't know. Noubar, last name Afeyan. Flagship pioneering Moderna cheer, right? I know, right? What bothered him was he saw that traditional biotech was too slow, too siloed, and not always aligned with the greatest risk to humanity. I think that's kind of like what we're talking about in this video. But he acted out of line, Hormozi would say, when he founded the flagship pioneering a firm that incubates biotech startups from scratch, he also co-founded Moderna. The impact was that the flagship has launched dozens of breakthrough life science companies. For all those people who felt value from Moderna's mRNA platform, changed how quickly they can respond to pandemics. The financial before and after for him was he was the hearsay 500,000 a year before. Today, a net worth of $2 to $3 billion plus Moderna equity, which their IPO and holdings are over $1 billion. See, the wealthy use mental toughness rhetoric to keep you poor. The wealthy, not all of them, just the ones that are the frightened elites, terrified that you might question the system, realize your own potential, build your own platform, become a competitor, stop working for their dream and start working for yours. So 2.9 million people just signed up to never question the system, never realize their own potential, never build their own platform, never become a true competitor, and never stop working for someone else's dream. Or it's available on Amazon. So they promote these frightened, terrified, wealthy, possibly elite, or just the person next door to you that has the 2025 model of the car you got, still going to their volunteer slavery every day. They promote messages like mental toughness means staying where you are. Feelings are irrelevant to action. Consistency matters more than your own intuition. If you're uncomfortable, double down. This is not wisdom. This is economic control psychology. You will learn about propaganda in here. You will learn how it was used since starting at the 1933 gold confiscation. You will understand why "In God We Trust" is printed on your fiat currency, because this is going to take you through historical true accounts of marketing and branding on a high level of a national override. Like I said, we're not opposed to the United States. We're simply competing for market share. We realize your mental illness, and this book will help you heal once you understand you don't know what you don't know. And the true value is that this will guide you all the way through 2040. You will know exactly what cards to play. So if you want to be a billionaire, get this. If you want to be in a room that's burning down around you and you become cooked and dead tissue, stick with Hormozi, right? I'm sure he's a great guy. So if they can get you to endure instead of evolve, to adapt to remaining in the problem instead of being aspired, to obey instead of originate, you'll never become a monetary threat. Right? A docile population is easy to manage. See, y'all seen my post on, if you're not on LinkedIn, follow me, get there, get somewhere, get on Facebook, I'm starting Instagram, whatever. You'll see the post. I'm a magnet, not a manager. Cause they want the manager to be, they're posting on LinkedIn, the manager's not worried about my feelings. No, we're not. We're going to tell you where we need you to get to. I want you to get there. I can help you, but your feelings, if you feel like this ain't what you want to do, then that means this ain't the place for you. I'm not going to Alex Hormozi you and say, stay here and deal with it. No. If you don't want to be American, that's okay. Stay in the United States mentality. See, the issue is too many people are going to the restaurant. The United States is the restaurant. The American people, we're the customers they're serving. I don't care if you're talking about the Toyota that was brought over here. I don't care if you're talking about the New Zealand cattle they're importing or their version of healthcare. What they're really doing is serving the American people. That's why they're bills and not laws. Okay? So what's happening is, if you want to come in the restaurant with us and you all of a sudden feel like you're a staff member or a server and you feel like you're a United States citizen, that's okay. We're going to sit down at the table. We're going to dine. Too many people have been branded into servitude. Pasha Paroh, the signal. I'm not no Harriet Tubman. I did that too much. I came in trying to get y'all out. Y'all wanted to abuse me. Y'all wanted to lock me down with y'all. So now we learn to just be the signal. Here's the beacon. You got the GPS. Call me. You got some questions. It's only $4.97 for the first 40 minutes. A docile population is easy to manage. A visionary population is impossible to contain. That's why they don't want you to hear me talking about omnipresence. They want you in a box. You can't be in a box when you omnipresent. Break the mass hypnosis, people. Rise with stars and stripes, America. You're acting different because the nation is different. You're acting different because you're different. You're acting different at work because work is different. Your family is different. The world is different. The frequency has shifted. I am the signal. And people like Hormozi keep telling you to live in the past. Like when I brought up on a post, that whole concept that y'all posting about your feelings was first published, not to say it was first talked about, but first published in the 1970s. And your leaders got you liking it 100,000 times like it's a new revolutionary idea. Again, keeping you dumbed down. You don't realize you're 50 years behind. How can you ever plan to make something that's going to be impactful in 2040 like me if you can't get past 50 years ago? That's a 90-year gap. Okay, I messed up the math a little bit there. 50 that way, 15 that way, 65. You're 65 years behind if you listen to Hormozi versus what I'm giving you today. I'm not offended. These people running around, oh, he's jealous, he's this. When you go talk to someone at the corner store or this, that, and the other, or wherever in your society, in your family, your friend, and they talking all this other dumb shit about you. No, it's none of what they telling you. This is why reputation is a belief. It ain't the truth. When you talk to me, when you listen to this video, you find out, damn, I'm 65 years behind. I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's what we're irritated with. Because you being 65 years behind holds us back. We could be talking about 2080, but we gotta wait for y'all. Or America's your alternative. You don't have to wait anymore. That's why my voice sounds foreign. Because I'm not speaking to who you were 50 years ago. I'm speaking to who you are becoming. Break the conditioning, break the hypnosis, break the habit of staying in rooms that are burning you alive. Rise with stars and stripes. Rise with intelligence. Rise with truth. Rise with America. This is the new era. Not mentally tough, but the mentally free. Rise with me. Transmission